Gonna proc it now. Gonna proc it now. By Jackson Aurelia. Jackson Aurelia. Gonna proc it now. Gonna proc it now. Proc it Jackson Aurelia. T-Force.
Welcome to the rework of the T-Force. Now we going hard cause we bumping at the beat source. It's a 3-course dinner of dudes bringing the news and stats, interviews and casts from the pro scene. So fresh and so clean, like you're leaning with Nami in the bot lane. Keep it hot like brand, practicing his dot game. Give it to you easy like you're Resi in a bot game. Imagine Draven at prime time. Now ulti like LeBlanc can copy that 4 times, but manlier. Knock it up like now fight planning a family-er. You gotta be tuned in like Sona on the ad wall. Get on the chat call. Can a podcast really be all that? Of course. How do 4 guys make a track force?
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this wonderful evening. Hold on.
It sounded so proper.
So soothing.
Force proper.
Thank you. You are listening to Trinity Force Proper. We are your one-stop shop for everything League of Legends. We go live twice. I can't do it, guys. I really can't. This is just
add some energy to that.
Too serious for you?
Yes, it's too serious. Can we try that again?
All right.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this lovely evening. You are listening to episode number 233. I have beer, and I am ready to talk about anything and everything League of Legends. Before we get started, I have a whole freaking ton of announcements I need to go through. So if you're listening to the MP3, skip ahead 5 minutes, skip ahead 6 minutes, because seriously, this is going to take me a little bit to get through.
Or don't skip ahead and listen.
Well, some people don't like it that we do announcements, and so I'm just kind of giving them a fair warning. Like, this is happening. I apologize. We're going to make up for it by going 10 minutes late, and we started a little bit late anyway. So, first and foremost, we're going to go over a whole bunch of donations that came in, and then we're going to tell you how you can donate and how you can help the podcast, because this leads into another piece about Battle Arena. First and foremost, we had Jonathan. He donated $25 to the podcast to help us out.
Nice.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan.
Finley Buchanan, he donated $25 as well. He said mastermind here, master of shooting lasers only when drunk. Love your podcast, guys. Been listening for the past 4 months and got into actual community just past 2 weeks. It helps me get to work.
I love you, Finley.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry. I was just wondering what you guys think of underdog champs that come out of nowhere, aka Victor, that almost no one plays. I found that he can usually double the damage everyone on the map, and do you guys know of any more? You know what? I'll tell you, one of those underdog champs is like Heimerdinger. We were just talking about Urgot top.
Yep, Urgot top. Doublelift played him a lot, season 3. And I heard he said on his channel that he's been kicking butt in solo queue with him in the challenger area. So he said he wouldn't be surprised. And actually, CLG isn't against using him as their ADC. So you might see him in the next LCS match.
I was surprised to see Urgot has a pretty good win rate in Plat and Diamond, hovering around 60% once you get to the 30-minute mark. I don't know what's going on.
He's pretty beast in the top lane. I played one the other day and he wrecked my face. But Timothy Walker donated $50. He actually is our producer for the AZLOL podcast. He just heard we had some issues, decided to donate some money to us, even though he's helping out.
Oh,
awesome.
What a guy.
Thank you.
John donated $20 with a message. Hey, T-Force, I commute a total of 3 hours to Boston, and I don't know what I would do without the Trinity Force podcast to get me to that twice a week. You all have an awesome podcast, great viewpoints, great voices, and I love the podcast starts, and you just get right into league talk. Well, sorry, today. Not today, John.
Most days.
So it made me very sad to hear that server costs are hitting you. I hope this small amount helps. Thank you very much, John.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Carl, and then Carl donated $20 as well. Thank you for a great content you produce. You continue to make me laugh and become a better player. Nightfalling. That's his, obviously, in-game handle. But as you guys heard last week, I kind of made that passing. I wasn't, like, fishing, I swear to God, when I just said, server costs are hitting us. They were. But these donations have actually helped us. This pushes us for a couple more months forward. We are looking into other ways to help continue to fund it. And like I said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to not pedal, like, go out there and sell. To Claude, if he saw my tweet, he gets it.
Yeah, yep.
I mistyped pedal, like pedal a bike. I said like pedal as if I was peddling goods on the street.
Yeah, and My grammar fixed them.
But I would pedal the server. Like I would get on the back of a server and just pedal it to make sure it stays up the entire time. This podcast isn't going anywhere no matter what server costs help. But if you want to help out and you want to help us keep us going, there is a donation button at tforce.trinityforcepodcast.com or on our subreddit at /r/tforce network. You'll find the donate button. Donate any denomination. Anything helps if you want to help us out. It just makes sure that we can keep the server up so that we can continue to push it, because when you're pushing terabytes and terabytes of data a week, costs start to hit you kind of hard. But like I said, we're going to make sure it stays up. With that said, do look out. I think in the future, in the next month or so, we're going to open up a Patreon account as well, so you guys with goals, as helping you guys with coaching and whatnot. We just need to figure out what monetary amounts we actually want to tie to those. Too little, we stretch ourselves too thin. Too much, nobody wants to donate. You guys kind of get it out there. I'm not going to bore everybody with the back end talk. With that said, premium content, another way to donate. So the Battle Arena guys and I were sitting around going, all right, well, Battle Arena's been around for a while. It's been successful. How can we make it better? What can we do? Well, out on our subreddit, we put a post out there and it says, please let us know what we can do to make Battle Arena better. We want everything. We want the good. We want the bad. We want you to tell us, are the casters doing a good job? Are the casters doing a bad job? What can they focus more on? There's been a lot of great feedback. And before this all started, we decided, well, why don't we make a new Battle Arena and make it like a donation-based one, but bring more people and get more people involved. And this is where the idea of Battle Arena Smackdown Edition came in. Now, for out there, you're going, what is Smackdown Edition? Why? I'll explain it to you. Wait, to Claude, ask me, what's Smackdown Edition?
What is Down Edition?
Well, Edition is where we pit 5 Platinum and Diamond players versus 5 Gold and lower level, or Gold and lower division players in a 5-on-5 battle to whoever wins. And it might be like the best 2 game. It might be like a best of 2. Like it's not actually like a best of 3 where there's a winner. The whole point of this entire thing is for you to go in there and play Platinum and Diamond players and get better at this game by getting feedback. Now, this is not only what's going to happen. You're going to play against a Platinum and Diamond player, in every lane. And you're going to have a Platinum or Diamond player watching you play the game, and they're going to be taking notes. So you're going to have from 2 different viewpoints people looking at you and telling you how to play the game there, and you're going to have the shoutcasters also watching the game and doing a Battle Arena style analysis.
A lot of work.
Of the game.
So much feedback.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of feedback. So this is how this is going to happen. There is no date yet, but it is going to be a donation-based Battle Arena. So when I put the sign-outs out there, if you are gold or lower and you want to get on this, we'd ask for a minimum donation of $5. You can sign up and we'll accept 5 or 10 people to get us taken care of. I will have more details within 2 weeks, I promise. This is really the basic idea. And for that minimum donation, $5, that money is going to helping these 10 people out or 13 people out that are helping you. I want to be able to give every one of those guys like a mystery skin for helping out. So if I make $25, that all goes toward just paying these guys for doing their time. And anything extra that you want to donate to the podcast goes to the podcast, for helping us out. So that's why we call it the Battle Arena Smackdown Premium Edition. With all of that said, before any of you guys get out there and start throwing your wallets at the screen, I need Platinum and Diamond level players who have a passion for teaching and want to help players get better at this game. If that's you and you're listening to this podcast, email us, feedback@trinityforcepodcast.com. Send me a link to your profile. Give me a short one, not even a paragraph, like 2 sentences. Like, I really want to help, and I'm looking for a way in. I'm looking for you, because this is also going to be opened up for shoutcasters, because I want to open Battle Arena up to have more battle arenas. And if I can get Platinum and Diamond level other players, those guys who really, really are looking to teach, then the community just continues to grow exponentially off of this. So that is cool. That's my whole spiel.
Very exciting.
Nice. So you're advertising out to the players, looking for feedback, and to the feedback givers.
Exactly.
We need you guys. Cool.
Yes.
And hopefully, you'll be screening them. You get the ones who just like teaching. They like imparting their knowledge. So it's not like, I'm just doing this for a mystery skin kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, the whole big point of this, and you bring up a good point, is that this isn't for you. This wouldn't be like Punch goes in a lane and just absolutely shits on a guy and tries to style and have fun. Like, yeah, you're trying to win, and if you shit on somebody, you shit on them, but you're not doing it because that's what you want to do. You want to go in there and teach them why they're doing something bad, and then have feedback for them when the game ends.
Punish for a mistake, take notes on it, and say, hey, this is why this happened. I can see that.
And and it can totally get so far ahead where like it could happen where you win the lane, like you beat a plat player in the lane, right, as a silver player, but then you don't
positive feedback.
Yeah, then you get positive feedback, but then you can have negative feedback because you don't transition well enough and you let those plat players pick you off because you have bad positioning or something. Like, a lot can happen. There's a lot more to League of Legends than just playing the lane, and that's why we're having 10, 13 people take care of this entire event. So if you're excited, you want to get in on this, again, it's going to be a donation-based event, and if you help me out with it, you're going to get some kind of compensation for your time. So
cool.
Great way to
Sounds
get better.
awesome.
Playing against people that are better than you is a fantastic way to improve.
Yes. Yeah. I was talking about someone with that yesterday. We were talking about MMA, actually, and how a lot of people will fight people that are better than them, like in training and stuff, because just stomping on people doesn't get you better at this game. You need to get used to that guy throwing that hook that never throws the, you need to be ready for hooks, because if you're fighting guys who never throw hooks and that guy throws a hook, you're out. So, I don't know. Good example. Cheer would probably give me a better example for if he was here. But obviously, we're short-manned. It's only Punch and DeClaude tonight. The other two had personal things to take care of. And so we are just going to jump right into listener questions at this point. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And
Mailbag.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeezus Bound writes, I'm a main mid heading into my second season of League of Legends. My theory for how to play mid lane is to be proficient in one champion that can fill a specific purpose for your team. Burst Mage, Utility Mage, Poke Mage, Range AD, AD Assassin. With the new season starting, can anyone suggest their top picks for each role? Please prioritize ease of learning over OP-ness, because I don't want to be just another shitty Zed trying to climb the ranks.
All right. Well, I really like what Yeezus Bound is saying here. I like that mindset. Becoming real proficient in a champion that can fulfill a specific role. And, mages alone can be separated between burst and utility and poke, all that kind of stuff, which is great. I like to look at it as AoE nuke, and then you got assassin mage. Could be assassin mage or just regular assassin. I like to group those two together. If you need an assassin, they can both fulfill that role. And burst, which is kind of like a burst mage anyway. And then you have your utility mages like Orianna, who can help deliver her ball through the team and just great for team fights and comps. So I would recommend Orianna for your utility mage. And just as a general awesome mage, I always cringe when I see an Orianna because she can be played safe. She's good throughout the entire game. Her auto attacks hurt. She was a good pick into the Zed when Zed was super OP. In LCS matches and the expansion tournaments, they would pick Orianna to counter the Zed, and it worked really well. They'd bully the Zed into the turret. So they're poking from range, and she is great. So get proficient with Orianna, and she's not getting banned a lot unless I'm in the game because I hate Orianna. If I'm going to play mid, I'm banning her. So there's one, and she's not too hard. She's a little tricky because everything's pretty much a skill shot. Except for her E, that ball is kind of weird. You gotta get used to its positioning, and they do have graphic indicators on it now where it's got a little arrow that points to where you are in relation to the ball, and it changes color yellow to red when it's getting out of range, because then it'll just disappear and come back to you. So practice with Orianna, and you will have a solid matchup. You'll have a solid mid lane champ for just about any matchup. Do either of you want to talk about an assassin mage like LeBlanc? I know Cheers that's his favorite.
Talk about our last episode with Red Mercy. I feel like there was a question in there about what champions he would recommend for mid lane, and I think if you haven't listened to that Yeezus Bound, then you probably should, because I think he rattled off quite a few. I know one that he mentioned for a burst mage was Annie, because of how easy it is to hit her skills and how much burst you can just throw out when you time your stun correctly. Tibbers is instant. Fireball is a point and click, and then Incinerate is a cone effect, so you can't really go wrong with that. Did he also mention Lysandra? I know he was high on Lysandra.
I don't think he said Lysandra was an easy champion. I can't remember the other. Morgana would be super point and click and easy mid laner to play as well, because you can just W a wave and be super safe.
She is very easy at landing.
Nearly ungankable.
Another good one is Ziggs. I know he has skill shots, but short cooldowns, easy to land. He's a safe, easy mid laner, and he's got great wave clear. You don't see him a lot now. He used to be pick or ban. Now he's just kind of fallen to the wayside because he received a little bit of a nerf. But it's tricky landing the satchel if you want to use it as an escape, so get used to that. But Ziggs is a good one. He's a wave clear style mage, good AoE damage, and good map presence with his ult.
was gonna say, I know we could. I like Punch's answer with this one because we could rattle off a ton of them, but I do think that
check out the Red Mercy
episode is gonna do more than us just rattling off why you could do things, because we actually went into depth on that episode, or rather, I should say, he went into depth on why certain things are good, and then he even has a couple videos like top 5 AD assassins or top 5 assassins, and his list included Katarina, Yasuo was his number 1, Zed's in there. You know, etc.
Just search Red Mercy on YouTube if you don't know the exact channel name.
He's got a lot of good information there. On the topic of the assassins, I think just kind of as a rule of thumb, assassins are just hard to play by design. So
risky.
I have a hard time thinking of an easy to play AD assassin. I mean, they all require skill.
Not AD assassin. I think LeBlanc is probably the easiest assassin to play, and but has the highest ceiling. Or one of the highest ceilings, right?
High juke potential.
Right. Because you can do some really cool stuff with her. You can WW, you know, and go really far. You can use your clone to make juke people out. You can, you know, shoot yourself out to the side and shoot someone with a Q. You can do all sorts of crazy. I'm not going to go on everything, but you can do some really crazy stuff with LeBlanc. But when it comes to just a really easy point-and-click assassin, LeBlanc can fill that role. Because the difference between like a decent LeBlanc and a good LeBlanc is how well you can get in and out of a fight, and what angles you can create to get into a fight, or what angles you can abuse to get in and kill somebody.
And not making a pattern. A lot of the new LeBlanc players will always W again to go back to their spot, but it's a big beacon telling people with skill shots where to land their attack. And I punish that all the time against LeBlancs, because I notice I'll see in lane, they'll always W and then W back. W, then W back. So they'll W and I'll throw something at her back spot. She'll W into it, right back, and then, you know, just waste it. So she has some trickiness to her. I think Punch is kind of, you're right, LeBlanc, as far as the AD assassin, she's safer. You know, she can get in and out, but she's still tricky. So
like you said, that's assassins.
I like how assassins are. She can be played adequately. Put enough time into her, but she's pretty hard to master. But I'd agree. I think she's probably the easiest of the assassins to play.
And if you want if you want Veigar, we talked a little bit about Veigar there.
On Red Mercy.
I would say like the last champion here I would pick up is Xerath. He's really, really safe in lane, and Ahri, if you can even get her, but like you're not going to get Ahri in this as she currently stands. But yeah, Xerath, great poke mage. You know, that's what it is. You have to play him poke, and I'm slowly learning that you can't. I play too many top laners, so when I can't
face tank Aurelia with Xerath. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, I got to tell you guys a story because I tweeted about it earlier. It was fucking hilarious. I wish I recorded it. Before I got in the game, I told Wrecker, do not let me play Xerath, and he forgot. I locked in Xerath because I was like, I panicked. I'm like, I got to play mid.
That Wrecker.
I play, and I think I'm like 1-0 at this point. I think I got a lucky kill somewhere, or I'm 0-0-1. So I'm like, all right, I'm okay. You know, I'm doing fine. And I roam from base to bottom to try to go from base to bottom lane. And I'm going through like the jungle, you know, to get there. And I'm only watching bottom lane. I'm trying to salvage a gank that went south for my team. And I press R, and my the tip of my ult ends in the dragon pit rather than getting to lane.
Oops.
And then I keep walking into lane thinking it would be okay, and Aurelia face checks me in a bush, and I die. And I fucked everything up. And my Leona just went off on me. Like the team just goes, what the fuck, Xerath, you son of, you know, like the type of thing. And I was like, suck.
There you go.
I ended up coming back and get like a triple kill within the next couple of minutes, like when we actually had a dragon fight, so I was able to redeem myself. But that was when I learned that I have to really pay attention to what I was doing.
That's the power of mute, though. You came back because you muted that toxic player.
I'm not gonna. Yeah,
I'm proud of you. Proud of you for getting the mute button.
But I thought that was funny playing Xerath. So yeah, you can't face check things with Xerath. You need to play him very poke. But he's fun. He's safe. One of the most annoying things that I find with Xerath, though, is that he goes through mana really quickly, so that's why he has a passive that gets it back. But to become a good Xerath player, I noticed you have to be able to find ways to use his auto attacks in team fights. Like if it's attacking the Scuttle Crab, if it's attacking Dragon, if it's attacking a Wraith Camp when you're running away, you need to find opportunities to use your auto attack when you're like trying to get away or trying to get pressure on people. Yeah, to continue to have mana, continue to land more artillery strikes.
That's his passive when it's on a little cooldown, but then once it's cooldown, you auto attack a minion or monster, you get a mana back. If you hit a champion, you get double that mana. So it's a great way to stay in your lane. So he's kind of cool, but he's also very immobile. So if he gets dogpiled,
yeah, if Aurelia gets on you, trust me, you can't get her off. You're dead. You might as well just lay down and go, all right.
Yep.
You got me.
So it's rough. Veigar is another immobile one, but his event horizon is just so great at getting people out of your face. And he's another one who's point and click easy. There's only one skill shot is Dark Matter, and that's it. So everything else is just point and click. And if you get to late game and they have an AP on their team, all you got to do is R that AP. Don't waste anything else on it. Just hit R on the AP, you'll kill it, and then use everything else for everybody else. So he's fun. It's just no better feeling than deleting a champion instantly from the map and saying, okay, hit my delete key, which is really R, and then boom, there goes that champion.
I have too much fun with Rengar throwing everything at somebody. Just
overkill.
Yeah, so they go, oh my god!
Yeah, but he's another immobile one, and once that stun is down, you're pretty much a sitting duck. So I had a game where I built him with the Seraph's Embrace, which is the upgrade from the Archangel Staff. That's the one where once it upgrades, you can shield. Once you get your tier fully stacked, you get a little shield. I also got a Quicksilver Sash, and I got a Zhonya Hourglass, because they had a Talon and some other assassin, a Fizz. So I was like, well, son of a bitch, I'm Veigar with a Talon and a Fizz. This is going to suck. So I built those 3 items as soon as possible. Oh, it was beautiful. It was just enough time with my shield for my Q to cool down and things like that, the E to come on cooldown, and I took both of them out when they jumped me once, 1v2.
Oh my God.
So it felt great. Fizz, I just R'd. That's it. And then everything else on Talon. So that's another fun one.
Fizz not saving his E so you could miss
Silly
the
Fizz
AR.
going AP nowadays when he should be going tank. Kind of tank. Maybe. But anyway, that's another discussion.
Yeah, my 80 Bruiser Fizz that I called out the other day, and then he gets played twice in the LCS.
It's what happens now. We should move on off mid, since that was last week's conversation, if we have any other.
Yeah, why don't you read Chaz's?
Chaz, I'm a family man with a full-time job, and my playtime comes last to that, as it should. I only game once or twice a week, but thinking correctly about the game has affected my play greatly. I always say, work smarter, not always harder. Thank you for offering the means for me to shape my mind around the game so that when I do play, it's not aimless, but purposeful, with strategies to try and awarenesses of strengths and weaknesses. So that looks like more of a thank you, but I agree with you. Family comes first.
He makes good points.
Yeah, and you make some really good points when you're thinking about it and going in. You know, you don't just play to play. Like, oh, I hope I get LP playing this game. Oh, my God, my teams always suck. Why do they always suck? I'm hoping that the Riot gods don't pit me with losers. If you got nothing but that going on in your mind, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I like your mindset there, Chaz. You have a purpose. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to go in. I'm going to concentrate on map awareness, or I'm going to try to go for this strategy. And it sounds like it might be working for you, because if you're playing a small amount because of that, you're making it count.
Something to point out here, and I think Chaz has this on lockdown, is that if you know you only have so much time to play, you should play knowing that you're going to hit a skill level that you can't surpass, or it's going to be harder for you to surpass because you can't put that time in to pass it. So if I am a family man who only plays this game and I'm stuck in Silver 2, and I decide, that's when you decide, do I want to play ranked and slowly move up? Maybe you make huge leaps and bounds, but maybe I'm stuck in Silver 2 and I can't go anywhere. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to spend my time enjoying the game and getting better at my certain roles? Because even if you can't see it, normal does have a hidden elo. So you will get stuck with, silvers and golds and plats and whatnot, even if your solo queue elo is really low. And I think a lot of people, and Wrecker actually made this point yesterday, and I wish more people could hear it, so I'm going to say it now, that rank isn't necessarily about showcasing how good you are. It's a metric to determine where you're at in comparison to other players who are playing this game. So that the game is going to automatically, after 100 games, we'll say, level it out. So you're playing players you should play, because that's where your skill level is at. And that's how you should look at ranked. Everybody is going to level out somewhere at some point, and they have to do something to get better and get up to the next point. And that's what you should use ranked as, not as, I am a gold level player because I can hit thresh hooks, and I should be because I'm really good at hitting thresh hooks. Well, okay, you're good at hitting thresh hooks, but are you good at rotating and taking turrets, and are you good at objectives and da-da-da-da-da?
Right. Is it consistent enough? So, cool. Thanks, Chaz. Thanks for writing in. I can relate to that. I appreciate that. Let's move on to Thor's Hammer. What's mainly on my mind is how to position correctly as an ADC. Here's for you, Punch. I know I should be behind my front line and engage after CC is blown, but I still feel I get targeted by the enemy team. Well, of course you get targeted. You're ADC. You've got a big target on you. Even when I'm not that fed. It seems they're stuck in the mentality of target the ADC. Yep. That's all fine and dandy. Any damage put on me is damage not on my team. That's a good tank mentality you got there. But at the same time, I'd like to know how to keep myself alive without having to rely on my team to peel for me. Do you have any advice on how I can still do my job of dishing out as much damage as possible while still remaining alive? And then he has in parentheses here, also, to save you the trouble of guessing, I was Silver 1, but after placements, I'm currently Silver 5. I play all the ADCs, but I particularly enjoy Sivir, Vayne, Kate, and Graves. So what do you got, Punch?
Well, a very good way to assess your own positioning is to find a way to record your game somehow. To find a way to get a replay.
Fraps,
to actually
OBS, sorry.
I think op.gg. Can you sign up for that? Can anybody sign up for that now?
I don't think so. No, I've looked.
Oh, never mind.
You can spect it. No, download OBS. Just record your games locally. You don't have to stream it on Twitch. And Fraps, of course, is another one.
Because positioning is very hard to monitor during the game. Like when a team fight's breaking out, it's hard to tell whether you have good positioning or bad. I mean, sometimes it's obvious. It's like, oh, I got picked off there and I got killed. Okay, what are you gonna do? You know you screwed up there. But other times it's just there's too many things going on for you to determine whether or not your positioning is bad. So it's really good to have that third person point of view to watch the game after complete with it and see and rate yourself. 2020. Right. Another thing you can do, if you can get a replay, send that to feedback at trinityforcepodcast.com. I will watch it, and I will send an email out to you.
Look at that.
Give you some feedback. I've done that in the past, and I
before
enjoy
Punch
doing
gets
it.
like 100 videos. And doesn't have time
Please
to watch
don't send me 100 videos.
When you do, I want to point this out. If you ever do if we ever ask for something, you send it to us, send us a losing game. Don't send us a winning game. Winning games teach us nothing. It needs to be a game where you lost. And I don't care if it's a game where when I tell people this, don't go and cherry pick a game to send us. Like, we were way ahead and then suddenly we got behind and it was because my teammates were bad. Just send us any game that you lost.
Then good job.
Yeah, right.
So with all that being said, you seem to have the general idea of positioning, which is stand behind your front line and engage up the CC is blown. One thing I'd like to mention is that you should also try and identify who the highest threat is on the enemy team. For example, if the enemy team is a Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is a huge fucking threat. You need to know where he is at all times. If you see 4 people on the enemy team and you're posturing for a team fight, but you don't see Fiddlesticks, be afraid. Try to get wards on the side.
Yes.
If you've got the blue trinket, use that to try and find where Fiddlesticks is, because he's got one thing on his mind, and that is jump on your face and fear you and kill you. So watch out for people like Fiddlesticks. Watch out for assassins. Pay attention to where they're at, and that will help you position as well. Another thing I'd like to mention in solo queue is, you're right, people don't always peel for you, and you shouldn't set.
I asked Punch yesterday about my Alistar game where I flash engaged and he had no peels.
I don't expect peel in solo queue. That's why I really don't like playing immobile ADCs in solo queue. Like I'll see some people first pick Jinx, and as much as I would want to first pick Jinx because I like her, it happens too often where the enemy team will start picking 3 assassins. I first pick Jinx, and then I'm playing against Tryndamere, Fizz, and Fiddlesticks. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to end well. So I like to stick with those champions that have escapes. You mentioned Kate and Graves. Kate is probably the safest marksman in the game. Graves has got that dash, but he's short range, but he's still safer than the immobile ADCs. You say you like Sivir. Sivir can be safe, but it all depends on how well you can use your spell shield. Spell shield is imperative. I mean, that's pretty much all she's got to keep her safe. If you can hit your spell shield to block someone that's trying to pick you off or a key CC spell, then you're good to go.
That's also how you sustain mana in lane.
If you can't respond in time and you get hit by that CC, well, your spell shield is going to be too late. You're fucked. You also mentioned Vayne, and I am not a fan of Vayne in solo queue at all. I think...
Do you even play Vayne? I don't think I've ever seen you play Vayne.
Vayne is scary.
Vayne is very scary. She's very scary in the right hands.
In 2 ways.
Yeah,
if she's on my team, you never know what you're gonna
carry in the game. But she's just terrible in laning phase right now. And in solo queue, laning phase is very important because most games are won in the mid game. We've said this before. You want to set yourself for success in the laning phase. It's hard to do that with Vayne. It's also extremely hard to peel for yourself as Vayne. She has the tools to do it if you're very mechanically gifted, but that takes a lot of practice. Tumble has a lot of uses, which is part of the reason why it's so mechanically challenging, because you can tumble to dodge something, you can tumble to engage, you can ult and tumble to juke somebody. You have to tumble on cooldown to maximize your damage because it gives you an 80 damage boost. So, I mean, you want to be using tumble as much as possible, at the same time saving it for skills that you need to dodge. It's very tricky to use perfect.
So you got some decision making, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I can keep going on with Vayne, but that's just my 2 cents on her. And
I still don't think I've ever seen you play Vayne, ever.
Last thing he mentioned was Graves, who is my favorite ADC, and he's become popular.
Oh my God. So I got to point out with this Graves, and I told it to Punch this weekend. I was trying to figure out for a while, why is Graves in a good spot? I understand he's being played a lot right now.
His ult was buffed.
It's not exactly that, because I went back and I looked through the patch notes. The last time he got buffed was the last time he got like a significant buff was like patch 4.5 or something.
Yeah.
So it was a while ago, but it is that all the other ADCs aren't great right now because they've eaten nerfs, and items have eaten nerfs as well, like Edge and whatnot. But I was like in that mindset of like, why is Graves good? Because Graves hasn't been good for a while. And then I went and played him, and I went, oh right, Buckshot does a lot of damage.
Sure does.
I attack really quickly late in the game when I have E.
That was another thing they buffed him on, is his mana costs.
His Q does 5% more damage for the pass-through bullets, and his E costs 10 mana less. But again, that was all like patch 4.5, 4.6 tweaks.
And his passive is nice. It gives him a little bit of that extra tankiness, so you don't have to worry too much about your positioning that you're talking about. You still got to worry about it because you're a squishy little ADC and you got a target on your back. But he's a little bit beefier.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Graves. Keep playing Graves. He's the best right now. Graves is just a product of those cycles that every role goes through, where you've got your popular meta champions and they're the strongest, and then in the background you got some other champions that aren't played as much. They get buffs over time, small tweaks. And eventually the meta champions get nerfed, and the champions that got tweaks over time, like Graves, he got buffed over multiple patches. He comes to the forefront. Everyone remembers that he's good. So right now, he's probably at the top.
Do you think he's better than Corki right now? Or do you think it's one of those where you to play Corki, you need to utilize the 12 or 14 minute Trinity Force and the giant mid-game spike he gets from it?
I think Corki shows the strongest mid-game power spike. Overall, who's better? I don't know. It's hard to measure. It probably depends on your support, because Graves is more of an aggressive laner, and if you don't have the right support for that, then you're just kind of sitting around farming.
So in other words, Corki Graves are pretty much your top 2.
I'd say so.
And then if you're really good with Kalista, where you put her up there if we're talking like pro level?
Hypercarry.
The hypercarry, sneaky double lift, getting Kalista banned against him.
I don't even know if you need to be pro level Kalista anymore. She's got very popular following. I'm seeing a lot of bans for Kalista, or just the Runeance rush. People are thinking that the Runeance rush make her very powerful even early in mid game. Huh. But she does take a significant amount of skill. But I don't know. I don't play a lot of Kalista.
So what's your take? What's your take on targets of opportunity? Like
targets of opportunity is,
you know that you have the wards for the fiddle, but the fiddle's still not showing himself, and their tank engages on you. Do you just run away and not do anything, or you sit there shooting and orb walking the tank?
You're always orb walking
while keeping your eyes open for that sneaky fiddle the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're always orb walking. But,
that's what you're doing. I mean, you're orb walking away from the tank while keeping you got one eye on the tank and one eye on the fiddlesticks, because you know he's still looking to jump on you, and you gotta save your cooldowns to dodge him. But yeah, I mean, you can't just be walking around aimlessly like a scared cat. You have to be attacking something constantly, otherwise you're not putting out your damage. You're not doing your job.
Not helping your team. I've noticed that a lot of ADCs that have failed in solo queue, they don't do anything because they're too scared. They're running away. They got the tank jumping on them. They're like, oh my god, peel, and they're just running and not doing anything. They're not even shooting the tank that's on them. So,
hey, doing some damage is better than doing no damage. Even if you're doing 1 damage is better than 0 damage. You're never going to do that low, but
it's always ideal to have someone peel for you, though. If they can.
Since we're talking,
that's why duoing with the support is so good.
Right.
But that's not always possible.
Yeah, right. Well, since we're talking ADCs, let's move to Caden's question, because I know Punch wanted to answer this one too. He says, I was watching the game. He was watching the Lola versus TFP game. He was watching the game, and he was paying attention to ADC builds. I noticed Punch built BF Sword, or Pickaxe, followed by Zeal, and then finished his main damage item. He has talked about how this is how he likes to build ADCs, and it's something I found success with myself. However, the Lola ADC finished their main damage item first and built their Zeal item. I know the Lola ADC was able to run away with the game by the end, but during landing phase for the first 1.5 items, both ADCs were fairly equal. I would like to hear Punch's thoughts on the effects the two different build paths had in Power of Dynamics and lane, and if and when he had to change his tactics, and his thoughts on if he still likes the build.
I really like this question because what Caden did is he watched those games and he took some analysis out of them. And he's like, look at these two different build paths. I wonder why Punch built this way and why Bob built this way. And he's right. I actually did rethink my Berserker Greaves Zeal BF Sword build after those games. Because Ba did rush Infinity Edge both games. I think he had brown boots before... Or he had brown boots when he got Infinity Edge before he even upgraded that to Berserker Greaves, which is something I would almost never think of doing, but it worked out for him. Okay, so when I did some analysis on this, the first thing I went to was gold efficiency, because I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy here. I measured... I took the baseline of brown boots and BF Sword, and I measured that with the cost of brown boots upgrading the BF Sword to Infinity Edge, and the total cost of upgrading the brown boots to Berserker's Greaves plus the Zeal. So just upgrading to Infinity Edge is 2,250 gold. Upgrading the Berserker Greaves and getting the Zeal is 1,775 gold. So there's the difference of 475 gold there. When you get the Infinity Edge, you're getting 30 damage and 20% crit. When you get the Berserker Greaves and the Zeal, you get 45% attack speed, 10% crit, and a fair amount of movement speed. But here's the gold value. Infinity Edge costs more, 475 more gold. However, its gold value is just slightly above its total value. It's 2,330. That's not counting the passive because there's really no way to give a gold amount to the passive. So we can say it's higher than that. Again, we don't have value to give to it, but it's got an efficiency of around 104%. If you want to bump that up to like 105, 106% with the passive. Whereas Berserker Greaves and Zeal has a gold efficiency of 130%. So that's definitely the more gold efficient route, and gold efficiency is extremely important in the early game because you have a limited amount of gold, obviously. So you want to get as much stats as possible. When gold isn't an issue in the late game, or when you get ahead, that's when you get the items that give you the most bang for your buck, like Infinity Edge. Which leads us into our first reason of when you would get Infinity Edge first, and that is when you're ahead. Let's look at the second game against Lola Podcast, where Ba got 2 early kills on Graves. Now, Graves built Infinity Edge first anyways, I'll get into that later. But with 2 early kills, he's already ahead. And Infinity Edge is going to give him, like I said, more stats for his money. So he's going to use that to snowball, and that's the correct choice. However, if you are even in gold or slightly behind, you want to take the gold efficiency route, and that would be Berserker Greaves and Zeal. Now, this also, to further complicate things, this also depends on what champion you choose. Now, like I said, Infinity Edge first is what you get on Graves. It's what you would buy on AD casters, marksmen, like Graves and Lucian, because you're looking to get that flat AD to do the most damage you can off of your abilities, which scale with your AD ratios. And Infinity Edge gives you the most flat AD that you can get. When you want to get Zeals for more auto-attack-based champions like Caitlyn, right? Because you're getting the 45% attack speed, which is huge, compared to the 30% damage, or the 30 damage. So
Charging your
you get more
headshot
attack speed, more attacks, you're gold efficient, your auto-attacks are going to end up doing more damage over time. But again, if you get a lead, it's perfectly viable to get Infinity Edge. Another option that you have when you get that Zeal is you have an option to turn into a static shiv, which can be really important if you're falling behind and you need to clear waves to stall for your team. If your team doesn't have any wave clear and the enemy team is pushing to your base, that's when you're going to want to get static shiv, so you can stall out the game, get more farm, and come back in the late game. So and that's another reason why you want to get Zeal when you're behind, because you have that option to go to static shiv if you need it. Now, I did a lot of things wrong in my builds, particularly in the second game, my Jinx game. One bad thing I did is I built components for 3 different items. I built a Vampiric Scepter, then I got a BF Sword, and I got a Zeal. Now, I could combine the BF Sword and the Vampiric Scepter, but I didn't end up doing that. I had items for 3 different items. When you finish a big item, that gives you a power spike. By building 3 different items in parallel, I'm just delaying my power spike and not doing very much damage at all. That's not a good decision. What I could have done is, like I said, build the Bloodthirster and kind of just get that power spike. Not as ideal as getting the Infinity Edge. Buying the Vampiric Scepter in the first place wasn't the right call. I was expecting a longer laning phase for more sustain. But at least I would have gotten that power spike from Bloodthirster. And then I could turn the Zeal into Static Shiv or Phantom Dancer. But as it was, the three item components wasn't good. By the time I got Infinity Edge, it was too late. We were too far behind. In the first game, when Bob played Jinx, he did the same build as he did with Graves, I believe, and that was Brown Boots into Infinity Edge, which worked out for him when he got the Quadra kill at Dragon. Before that, he was 0-4, and I would argue quite behind. But we stayed too long with the Dragon fight, and he just cleaned up 4 people. Now, I'd argue that if he did the BF Sword Zeal build, he would have cleaned up everybody anyways, because they were at low health. So I really don't think that the item choice or the Infinity Edge gave him a huge benefit in that game. And my Tristana build was pretty standard. I don't have a problem with it. It was the Zeal, Zerker Greaves, BF Sword. I didn't get the Phantom or the Vampiric Scepter that game, which would have been a bad call. 3 components, you don't want to do that. 2 components for different items is fine, not 3. And that's about it. That's all the analysis I've got for that.
I actually learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I did too.
I don't play ADC a lot, so. But yeah, because usually I would have a couple of pieces of items because I didn't have enough to finish that one item to get that spike, but I had enough for a dagger or a brawler's glove, so I got that while I was back anyway. But I see where it would delay the power spike.
That's a good point. Sorry, that was another thing I forgot to mention is that another thing that determines what build you're going for is how much money you have when you back. If you've got... So if your first back, you pick a BF Sword, right? Your second back, you've got enough money to finish that Infinity Edge, buy it. Because you get your power spike right then and there. But another mistake I made during those games is I didn't have enough money for the BF Sword on my first back. I wanted that BF Sword, so I kind of bought a lesser item. Instead, I just should have bit the bullet and bought the pickaxe, because that would have given me as much power as I could.
Building towards the Infinity Edge. Yeah.
I'm still building towards the Infinity Edge. I'm getting as much power as I can at the moment.
I guess, so my question for you is, if you're sitting on, excuse me, if you're sitting on 3 items like that, or you're sitting on 2 items like a BF and a Vamp because you needed to pick up the Vamp, you couldn't get the pickaxe for reasons, do you advocate picking up an early Bloodthirster even though it's not the ideal path to go when your enemy can also pick up a... If your enemy is... If you're at that point in the game where you could pick up a Bloodthirster at the same time your enemy picks up the Eye Edge, do you advocate that rather than sitting on the 3 items because of what Bloodthirster gives you? Is it a big enough power spike? Is it really a big enough power spike instead of that extra move speed and attack speed and crit that you would get from Zeal?
I would say a lot of it that depends. First of all, like who you are.
Right.
I would say if your plan is to turn that BF Sword into an Infinity Edge, then I wouldn't get the Zeal. I get the Berserker Greaves. I wouldn't get the Zeal. I would get Berserker Greaves, Infinity Edge, and sit in the Vamp Scepter.
So you wouldn't even finish. You wouldn't finish BT at that point. You have the components. You're sitting on Brown Boots. You have Vamp Scepter. You have BF Sword, and at that point, you can either buy a Zeal or you can finish your Bloodthirster.
I think so. I think I'd stick with Infinity Edge, assuming I'm not like super far behind. If I'm really far behind and I'm looking for gold efficiency, I would finish the Bloodthirster. Because it's more gold efficient.
Okay, so if you're behind, you're saying finish it but otherwise pick up the pickaxe, sit on the little extra gold that you would have, maybe finish Berserker Greaves out and go back to lane.
Right. Now, if you've got a Vampiric Scepter, a BF Sword, and a Zeal, for whatever reason, like I did, then I would finish the Bloodthirster.
Okay.
As opposed to building 3 different items in parallel, you don't want to do that.
Right, that makes sense. Then that's actually, going through that has me confused. I understand it, and I can execute this, but it's one of the things I think it's going to confuse a lot of our listeners because
I'm sorry.
You have to. I bring that up because you have to consider what is going on in the game. What does the enemy have? What objectives are we going for? What am I going to do? And all that has to go through your head in a matter of 20 seconds. And as you get better at the game and you get in that scenario more, you can definitely go. You'll go click, 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 and you'll be able to buy.
Yep.
But a rule of thumb is if you're behind, you have the items, finish the biggest item you can. If you're even, pick up a step item and go for the Infinity Edge. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. And a TLDR over the Infinity Edge over Zeal debate would be if you're ahead or if you're an AD caster, get Infinity Edge. If you're even or behind and you're an auto attack based champion, then get the Zeal, Berserker Greaves.
Okay,
simple enough to start on. You know, this kind of King Corporal has a similar question. I don't see he commented on it. He just asking about ADC builds, but he wanted to know about what health or armor items to go with. He has trouble deciding which ones to do with.
Is he talking about end of game?
I'd assume so. He doesn't specify, but he says, I understand I want to do damage, but ganks and assassins destroy me. So he's worried about whether he should pick up a health or armor item.
Well, do you mind if I take this one punch? I know you're ADC main, but...
Go ahead.
I would say a lot of people, if you're playing those squishy champions, I think for the most part, if it's your 6th item and you find that in the previous 2 team fights you nearly died or you did die, Guardian Angel is your buy, for sure. It's not about health, it's not about armor, it's not about magic, it's about the active on the item. If you are in a team fight, everything, how I judge when I play ADC or any other character is what happened in the last 2 team fights we had. Did I die? Did I almost die? Was I the focus, the center of attention? I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but honestly, I think Zhonya's is kind of like one of those crazy ADC items that you can get away with. I don't say build it. It's like that's like a 1 in 20 scenario type of thing. But like they got assassins that are just like all piled on top of you, and you got a team that can peel. You can also pick that up. Don't. That's like I said, 1 in 20, 1 in 30. Like don't take.
There's a video out there of people building. Crap, I just lost it already. Zhonya's, thank you, against Rengar. Since Rengar can blow up a ADC in a second or a fraction of a second, as soon as Rengar pops up, that ADC would hit Zhonya's, and then Rengar would just kind of stand around like an idiot, like, oh crap.
Oh, he jumped, he didn't kill me. Now, if
you can hit it while he's in mid jump too.
Yeah, if you can see him, you're fast enough reaction, right?
If you quick, yeah.
If Optimus Tom was on this podcast right now, this is what he would say. This is not me advocating this build, damn it. He would say build Frozen Mallet. If in the last 2 team fights you haven't died and you don't need a Quicksilver Sash or Mercurial Scimitar for anything, build a Frozen Mallet because it gives you life, it gives you active slow, and it gives you damage. No, I will never ever advocate building Frozen Mallet, no matter how good or bad it is. But
you
know
have
what?
to be able to kite if you're going to get that item too.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how you mentioned Quicksilver Sash. There's a Zed.
Next.
Get a Quicksilver Sash. There's your defensive
Fizz, get a Quicksilver Sash.
Right.
You can PSA, I don't think Quicksilver Sash works against Fizz's R right now. I think it might be bugged.
Oh,
I
really?
saw a thread on that, but I need to test it. So.
Well, at least it gives you some MR.
Yeah, I thought it's supposed to drop the fish off.
It's supposed to.
And if you can get out of its range before it jumps up, you avoided it. So
yeah, I like what you said, Adam, about looking at the last 2 team fights, because that's going to give you a great idea of what you need to do to stay alive. As you said with the Guardian Angel, one thing I think to myself all the time when I'm considering Guardian Angel is, am I dying before the team fight is over? Because if I'm dying after the rest of my team is dead, well then Guardian Angel's not going to help me because I'm going to die and then die again.
Yeah.
Right.
But if I'm dying while I got people around me to help me out and to peel for me, then I can pop back up after the assassin blows their load. I can escape, and I can continue on with the team fight.
especially if you have a healer on your team.
That's right.
And if that's happened where you die at the end, or if you die in the beginning or the middle of the team fight, sometimes having that Guardian Angel will force people not to attack you and rather try to zone you instead, because they realize if they blow everything on you, they can't blow all that on the
It's that mental thing. I see that little swirly. I'm like, I really don't want to blow my cooldowns until that swirly goes away. But you got to blow your cooldowns to get that Guardian Angel to pop. So it is a mental thing. So it is. That's a good point that you bring up with that.
Season 3, I think, when Season 3, when Guardian Angel was like that item you rushed. It was the beginning. I think it was the beginning of Season 3 with the item rework. Yeah, it had to have been.
Was Gambit building it on 4 out of 5 members?
Yes, it was the item to rush, and Gambit built it on four out of 5 members, and they won all team fights, not because their team comp was amazing, but because they couldn't. I think they even had Zillion. Like everybody was just coming back to life all the time.
You get one of those in a ZZ Rot portal, and boom, you got resistances for days.
But no life. Don't worry.
No damage or health.
Yeah.
What about Banshee Veil? I think didn't you build it specifically for what was it that you built it for? The team had 1 CC.
Right. If they're looking to pick me off with a CC like a Morgana binding or an Ari charm, or if it's a heavy AP burst assassin like a Fizz that can blow me up with a single rotation, but if I block a spell, I survive it, and then he's kind of shit out of luck. Then that's when you want to get Banshee's Veil. We played an ARM the other day where there was a Fizz that was on my ass the entire time, and I got a Banshee's Veil, and for some reason he didn't realize it, and he dived right at me when he had low health, didn't kill me, and I just turned around and hit him with an axe, and he died. I'm like, well, that was fun. Thanks, Banshee's Veil.
Yeah.
Hey, Draven.
Who out there can gift that right now? That was like 52 minutes into this podcast, but I want the punch.
Yeah. Mark it. Thanks,
Punch approved.
Yes! Can we get that, please, with a big sign that goes, punch approved? I'm going to link that every time on every...
Extract it.
No, I'm going to link that. Someone's going to make that GIF where you go, and I'm going to link that every time we have something cool happen on like the subreddit.
Sounds good. I approve of this idea.
Do we have time for another question?
Oh, absolutely. We got like 15 minutes left or more, so...
All right. Well, the next one here, we're going to do a video on... Okay. No, we did Chaz, not Chad. Okay. We did Chaz earlier. This one's Chad, a different guy. An issue I occasionally run into is I feel weak and sluggish. An excellent way that I have found to combat this is light exercise, especially in problem areas such as your hands and arms. If I play some guitar before I play League, I often feel energized and stronger than normal. It feels like my mouse and hand movements are faster and more precise. So I like this. Doesn't work for me because of my MS. If I do things, it makes them worse. But that's a good idea to at least get the blood flowing in your fingers. It's
like everything else. It's like stretching before... I joked before.
Exercising,
I've joked in the past that we have become the Dr. Laura of League of Legends podcast because we'll have a lot of people write into us, my friends or this or like these type of things, which they're fine. They're great questions. Don't stop writing them. I just think it's
good advice too.
It's cute. Yeah, but you see people like you don't go into a boxing match without stretching first. Just like. It's a good idea to stretch before you play League. Now, do I practice what I preach? Not all the time. But I do feel better if I am walking around. Like, for me to get ready for it, I do a lot of chores before I get on the League. One, so I'm peace of mind. I know I can play for 5 hours without having anything get in the way. And two, I've noticed it helps me out. Walk the dog, do vacuum, sweep the house, whatever, because then you're limber and nice. And you see a lot of the guys who are playing the LCS, they're always moving their hands around and they're always playing with things. And they're always trying to stay limber and warm. They have the hot deep pockets, that type of thing. So
what rule is that in Zombieland? Limber up 2, something like that.
I didn't see Zombieland. I'm sorry.
Oh, whoa!
You guys are missing out. It's a great movie.
Is it on Netflix? I'll check it out.
I don't know. Oh. I got the Blu-ray. Anyway, but yeah, that's good advice. Preparation for the game, and that's another thing. When you're losing and you're stressing out, and you want to just go in another game really quick to get the bad taste of that loss out of your mouth, because you're stressing. You're physically, take a break, relax, have some tea, sip it like Kermit the Frog. That
I started out the show.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The pinky up.
Yeah. Regardless of how the game goes, I like to take a break in between. And get your blood flowing, like you were saying, walk the dog. And unlike you, DeCloud, I don't want to move my hands too much. So I'd like to minimize the movement. So in between the game, I'll just go take a walk. Or clean the dishes. Or whatever.
I'll sit back. I'll spectate. That way I'm kind of still in the League mindset. And then I'll start analyzing things and thinking about what they're doing in whatever role. And that helps me to at least stay in the mindset of the game. And I'm taking a break. I'm putting my hands in my armpits because my circulation sucks. My hands, and it gets warm. And then after that, usually I'm good to go.
Yes, please, if you're out there and you like to drink as much beer as I do, you need to stay some type of physically active, whether it's lifting weights, doing push-ups, doing squats at home,
Running.
walking the dog, running. Yes. You need to do something, because if you're like me, you like to drink beer, you like to sit at the front of the computer for hours at a time, but you realize that if you do it all the time, you are not going to feel great the next morning. You're not going to feel great. So, during the day. So please go out there, take care of yourselves.
Drink
do
lots of water.
something.
Hydrate.
Oh,
That's
my
another
God.
point.
I drink
Yes,
so much water.
water's a great idea. Have a glass of water on your desk.
I don't have a glass. I have a half bottle of wine.
That's close enough.
Get some water, Adam.
It's liquid.
But
There's water in it, I think. Fill your lower lip.
oh, that wine is bad.
Ugh.
God. No, it's just
Sorry.
bad wine, and that's why it's there.
Gotta finish it off.
Good advice.
Yes, I bought it. It was okay. So this wine, it was $3.
Oh, geez.
Hey, there you go. Can't beat that.
It says it is a daring mix of juicy black fruit, black pepper, and mocha.
Daring, yes. That's one
Mocha
word for it.
wine.
It's called Stark. Here, you'll like this one. This is for DeClaude. It's called Stark Raving Cab. It's a Cabernet, Stark Raving Cab.
Kind of rhymes with mad, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I just think of this cab driver that's just going apeshit.
Should we
I was thinking
do?
of that too.
Should we do the next Dr. Laura question from James, or should we do Jack's question about time of day? Let's do both of them. Jack writes in, I have started playing an Udyr recently and really like the champion. I tried.
This isn't the time of day question.
Oh, that's not time of day. I'm sorry. I
Sakura.
apologize.
We should save the Udyr for Chira.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. Where's the time of day?
All right, Jack.
one?
Sakura.
We'll get to you. Sakura. It's up. What time of day do y'all play ranked? Is there a time to avoid playing ranked? I wish I
No,
knew.
you know what? I don't believe there is any time. I don't believe about the kids coming home from school. I don't believe about the first people coming home from work in the morning. I don't believe about the 5 o'clock bullshit. I don't believe that the kids playing on the weekend have anything to do with it. If you're good at this game, you're going to beat no matter type of player that plays. So play ranked whenever you have the chance.
There you go.
Yep.
But if you do your own little analysis, I would be curious to, if you sit there and you take notes, you put on your lab coat and you go, okay, I'm going to play this time of day. I'm going to play this time of day, and do it every single time of day, chart it out and map it out and look at statistics. Statistics usually don't lie. So if you're winning more on a Tuesday morning than you are on a Saturday evening, then try to play on Tuesday mornings.
There you go. Hey, if that works for you and it makes you win.
It's
Right,
a lot of
I mean,
work, but I'm not
if
going to
you
do the work. But
feel-
if you can.
If you feel better playing at those times just because you feel you have a better chance, then that puts you in a positive mindset, which is going to come out in your plays. So, yeah, go for it. If that makes you feel better, I agree with Adam. I don't think it matters at all what time of day you play. But if you've got a certain time and you enjoy playing during that time, then by all means.
Hey,
I think there is a little bit of this in there. Like I did notice last season, the weekend evenings, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, the people who were getting on after work or school, whatever, and then ready for the weekend and let me just go play. It was harder. I did see a lot more AFKs, people disconnect, things like that,
really?
than I did like a Sunday morning, which is when I got my platinum in season 3, where everything was beautiful. Every
See,
Sunday
I made
morning.
platinum in season 3 at the end of the day. It was like 4 or 5
Sunday
o'clock.
afternoon,
So
right?
yeah, Sunday
But-
afternoon rather.
So I did think for a time, well, maybe there's something to this, but you play when you can play, regardless.
I kind of agree with. I agree with. I mean, I know I just said you play when you play. I do kind of agree. I feel better. Just a personal preference. I like playing in the morning. I like getting up early, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. On a weekend, sleeping a little bit, sleep off the hangover, go do a couple chores, jump on League at 9:30 in the morning with a cup of coffee, and just play the game until like 11, 12 o'clock, and go get lunch. I feel great because
Yeah, like lunch thing. When you're in the mindset, positive mindset, you're gonna perform better. I'm a little superstitious. I got this. I don't think this is the case at all because they're separate, normal and ranked. But when I'm on a winning streak and ranked, I go, whoa, let me play some normals and still play my best and hope that I lose. Because once I lose, that'll balance out the karmic scales, and then I'll go back to ranked. I don't know how that works, but it seems to me to be a little bit better like that. But then again, I also don't like stepping on cracks. So, I'm I'm one of those.
I don't pick up heads down pennies either. Okay.
See?
I won't do
So-
it. How many times I've how many times I've yelled at the girlfriend's kids about picking up heads down pennies. You don't do that. It's bad luck.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, you spill the salt, you throw it over your shoulder. You know,
Yes, right.
like
Is it left shoulder, right? Is that what the good luck is, left shoulder?
right. Singe throws people over his right shoulder, though, so.
No wonder he loses all the games. No wonder we won that 30-minute comeback victory the other
But
day.
he makes them salty after he throws them, so he's kind of weird that way.
All right, let's answer one last question here. I'm going to leave... he plays support. You know what? We'll just do Ryan's question, and we'll get back to the Dr. Laura question for next week. I can only have so many of that in my podcast for one at a time.
Right.
Ryan writes in, I'm a low elo support main playing mostly pick and poke champions, Nami, Morgana, etc. I have a I have a lot of success in picks, but when I decide to play an engage support, Leo, Annie, Alistar, I have a lot of trouble knowing when to engage most mid-game team fights. Do you have any tips for engaging a team fight well and encouraging him to follow up? Thanks.
Man,
Ryan,
do we have any support Annie players out there?
right? Talk to me. God. No, I'm kidding. My support Eddie's actually kind of shit because I haven't played her in a while. So
Don't listen to him. Wait. Did you just admit that?
no, Ryan, here's what I'm going to tell you to start doing. One, Alistar, not an engaged champion. Alistar is a peel and counter engaged champion. So one, that'll help you out quite a bit there. Annie, yeah, he's playing Annie. Annie is 100% engaged. Annie, if you're flash stunning Tibbers and you're getting at least 3 people, your team is going to follow up and go with you. So keep doing that. Leona is a combination of engage and counter engage. And that's why she's kind of tricky to play, because your ultimate's awesome for engaging a fight, and so is Zenith Blade stunning people, but it's also great for peeling for your ADC and helping them survive.
Right. If they have a Rengar that you got to worry about, is a problem for your ADC, try to hold your stuff to peel. But if they don't have somebody like that,
but
go
if
ahead.
you are playing and you are engaging, I would do it with somebody, Leona or Annie, not Alistar. I just wouldn't engage with Alistar. I did it the other day, and I was lucky we won the team fight, honestly, because I flash engaged, and I was like, I ran. Just seen me. I ran around the back line like, what do I do? What do I do?
your head, you can do it, no problem.
Yeah. No, but Annie,
Because you punt somebody to your team.
to get people to follow you up, ping. Pings are big. Or type in the chat. I like to type in the chat. I say, flash is up in 3 seconds, and I am going.
Yeah, let them know that you're looking to engage, because they'll also be looking to follow up on you.
Yeah. Communication's key in this, because there's no way you can, talk to them, telepathically and say, I am engaging. You're engaging with me now. You need to ping, for one, and you need to type. You need to let people know your cooldowns. Mine with Annie is, I tell people, I am playing Annie support at level 2. If we get level 2 before them, I am going all in, hard as like balls to the wall. And they go, okay. And the same thing I say, when I get 6, we're in lane just dancing around. I go, at 6, I'm going in as hard as I can, because that lets people know what my intentions are. You need to do the same thing. Mid-game team fight. We are running down mid. My flash is up in 30 seconds. If I see 3, I'm going. Follow me or don't.
That's the thing, though. If you see the perfect time to engage, don't just take it without looking at the map and seeing where your team is. Because a lot of the times in solo queue, you'll have your ADC down there farming that juicy little red clump of minions down bot. You'll have someone else split push saying, oh, I'm going to split push top. And then you got 2 other guys who are kind of almost where you're at. And then you see a time to engage. You're engaging and you don't have no backup. You have no backup with you. So make sure that everyone's there. And like Adam was saying, ping first. Ping. Let them know, hey, flash up. Let's go down mid. And then if you can get everyone to be somewhat in the area, ping. Maybe do the on your way ping, and then run up there. And that should tell if I see it from a Leona, I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna solar flare any second now.
Yeah.
And then you get ready to jump in.
That's a very good point that you need to pay attention to who or where your teammates are as well. This seems like we're giving a lot of initiation tips in general as opposed to just support. But
Right.
if you look when you're looking to engage mid game, obviously you're looking for that. As you said, 3-man Tibber stun. If they've got a bunch of people grouped up, that's the time to go. But as Claude said, you also got to pay attention to where your team is at. Are they ready to follow up on you? Same with Leona's ultimate, right? If they're grouped up and you can hit multiple people with it, that's a good time to go. But where's the rest of your team? Can they follow up? And what about your team comp? Is your team comp equipped to follow up on you? Do you have people that can follow you into the back line? Or are you more of a pokey, disengaged comp where, as Leona, you should be helping peel for your ADC because no one else can follow you in with the engage?
You know what's funny about Annie is while she is great flash engage, she's also great pick, because what game was it we played? We ultimately lost the game, but how many times did I try to make a pick? Like I would flash stun a Sivir, or I would catch somebody out of bounds, and it would allow us to win the team fight. Now other issues led to us losing that game, but picking somebody, one target of opportunity, the biggest target of opportunity is any of those characters sometimes can be the difference. So it's paying attention and understanding why you were going and when you were going, and sometimes you just have to fail.
You know what? I failed.
So
I failed a lot on Leona. I had the mindset of the ADC, that the two fed damage dealers are the ones I need to lock down in a team fight to keep them from damaging my guys. But that left the Bruiser and the Assassin Jungler to go rip apart my ADC because I wasn't there peeling for them. So I'd go in, I'd lock down the middle laner and their ADC. I'd be chasing off the Graves or whatever, and then also the mid laner sitting there trying to peel for the Graves, and I'm sitting there, I'm tanky, look at all this time, and then I hear an ally has been slain, double kill, triple kill, I'm like, and all of a sudden I'm alone, and then they come piling on me.
You sound like me and Alistar. You use your WQ and you're like walking around like, I'm Alistar.
Where's my backup?
And your first instinct is to blame, what the hell, they're big damage dealers, I was keeping them occupied and you still died? No. They still had the right tools to deal with your team, and you weren't there to protect them. So that was a hard lesson I learned. So hopefully this advice helps you out.
I like the point where you need to fail. I think that's imperative to learning how to initiate, is just to fail over and over again. And you kind of have to be aggressive and to just try initiating many different ways. And then through the failing, you can figure out what works and what doesn't.
God,
I'm a really bad initiator because I'm just so cautious by nature. And every time I look to initiate, I'm always asking my team, all right, guys, you ready? You ready? I'm going in. I'm going. Hold on. Nope. Not going in.
Why do I gotta say that
I'm
was
going
like with DeClaude, we were playing the one game where you were playing top with teleport, and we had to keep telling you're like, tell me when the teleport, and I kept saying, I can't tell you when the teleport because by the time I tell you, it's going to be too late. So you just need to fail and figure it out.
Yes, it's the same way with sports.
And then the one where I was like, oh, I can teleport, but I had like 10% life left. And they're like, yeah, teleport now. I'm waiting for my health bar to fill up before I teleport. And then you're like, where are you? I was like, well, I had to heal up.
You told us you were going to come.
You told us you were going to come. So yeah, your communication's big as well, and I've learned a lot.
I just thought that was funny. It was just, for those out there, it was just the game we were playing where DeClaude kept saying, I could teleport here, I could do this, and I kept saying,
yeah, I was like, teleport's
you just need to do it.
I'm thinking I'm helping. I'm like, I'm helping. Teleport's up, guys. Okay.
It is.
But then I would never use it unless I was told to. So you got to identify the opportunities yourself.
I'm proud of myself for learning how to teleport with all my top lane games now.
Yes.
It took a lot of failed teleports, but I feel like I'm finally there.
Nice.
Well, I think that's it for tonight. We've talked about teleporting, whatnot, and lots of good information for you guys here. I think one last thing needs to happen before we go, because chat just wouldn't leave us alone. Punch, will you take us out with a gong hit? Guys!
There it is.
That is episode number 233 of the Trinity Force podcast. I know it feels like we just wrapped this up right away. Don't forget to go check out the Bronze Battle Arena. Go to the subreddit T-Force Network on Reddit. Check that out. Let us know what you think about the premium service. That is it, guys. That's episode number 233. We will see you all next week. Peace.
See you later.
Bye, guys.